Good morning. I hope it's a very good, really good morning, right? BTC hitting all-time high, altcoin hitting very much. Everyone, I'm pretty sure these guys are happy. If you're talking about DeFi, before jumping into the crowd, like the audience, I just wanted to ask, how many of you are trading crypto? All right, majority of guys. Who has never touched crypto? Yeah, that makes sense.
Throw them out.
All right. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about DeFi, especially with these guys. Unfortunately, Akshit from Logx hasn't been here with us, so we've got Shunpei from Japan right here on the guest. Yeah, just wanted to kind of get interaction with the audience more, and along with the panelists right here. So right here, we've got Anand, Shunpei, Srikumar here. Just wanted to maybe go through from here, from my left. Can you quickly introduce about yourself, project in brief, and we'll go through with it.
Sure. Hey guys, my name is Anand Gomes. I am the co-founder and CEO of Paradigm and Paradex. So Paradigm is a institutional exchange focused on options. We trade about a billion a day in volume every day. On average, we're about 30% of the global options market on any given day. And then we incubated a DEX about a year ago, Paradex, which I also run. Paradex is a perpetuals DEX as of now, but we are soon going to be launching options and spot, etc. The goal is to be on-chain Binance. We also have a passive, a suite of passive products, which is VTFs, which is something I'm super excited about, which are vault-traded funds. So you can think of them as on-chain ETFs. And we're about to launch perpetual options as well. But thank you guys for inviting us here today, and happy to speak with you all.
Srikumar?
Hi, morning everyone. I think first of all, thanks to our MC who really charged up the room. So a round of applause to the MC actually for getting everybody.
Definitely.
Here. So thanks mate. Yeah, and your co-founder as well. Okay, so I'm Shri. I'm the founder of Aarna protocol. This is my third avatar, as they say. So I'm back, 20 years back, as you can see, I have a few gray hairs, not quite sort of as many of you young folks here are. So I used to do mergers and acquisitions in London almost 15 years back, and that was my first life. And having done that for about 8 years, I quit my job and went back to India to found Milk Mantra, which is a consumer foods company. And it became India's first agri-food startup to be VC funded. Fidelity became my main investors there. So very different from this crypto world. And it went on to become a premium food brand in the eastern part of the country. Around a little bit more than 3 years back, I really I stumbled upon DeFi and really immersed myself and was fascinated with the possibilities of building a whole, creating a new financial system. And more specifically, what we started building Aarna as an advanced DeFi asset management platform, converging AI, deep learning, and tokenization to essentially solve for users to participate in crypto, in DeFi, to invest in crypto and DeFi in a risk-managed, intelligent, and very simple way. So I believe that as, on this day, as Bitcoin has surpassed $100,000. The entire digital asset space is already $3.5 trillion. It's a matter of time, 5-10 years before it becomes 10x from here. But we need sophisticated, structured products and easy platforms, risk managed by bringing AI and tokenization together to enable all of you users and especially higher value users to participate in this space. And that's what I and my team have been building for the last 3 years. We just launched 2 months back at Token 2049 globally, and very happy to be here at IBW to launch and release Aarna in India. Thank you.
Thank you. And lastly, Shunpei?
Hello. Good morning. My name is Shunpei. Hi. living in Abu Dhabi, and I used to be a developer contributing to Japanese exchanges, building a wallet, enterprise wallet system as well as backend side. And several years later, me and Wasim founded a Chainsight, which is on-chain data hub where any dApps, including DeFi protocols, can connect their data, which includes time series data as well as RWA data coming from the real world using zk-TLS. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much. And lastly, I'm going to be moderating today. My name is Wasim, again, co-founder, CEO of Chainsight. He's done all the explanation for me. I'm the drinking guy, networking guy. He's the brain. And I guess right here, we have all three founders, good founders right here. They're going to be, giving some advice to the audience later on. So just wanted to kind of hop in. Let's go into questions if you guys are ready. All right. Okay. So the first question for you guys, DeFi has grown exponentially over the last few years, right? You've mentioned that you've been in DeFi for 3 years. I think for you, how many years?
Since 2019, so been a while.
Yeah, that's quite long, right? And for him as well. In your view, what has been the single most significant, drive for the DeFi to be growing? Like, what was the kind of key factor for the audience if they have not been, into DeFi?
I mean, I don't think there's one particular thing I can point to. I think crypto is just about relentless speed and iteration, right? So every cycle, I feel like one or two things happen, whether that is the tech getting better, a better regulatory oversight. Of course, it has to coincide with market cycles as well. So if there's lots of money in the markets in general, then it's risk on, and then usually that money finds its way to crypto, right? So I feel like over the last, let's say, 6 years or so, at least since we've been in the space, every year I feel, well, tech just keeps getting better and better and better, and that unlocks more capability, and more capability means more value, and that value attracts money, and more ways for people to make money. And so more and more money keeps flowing into the space. Now, that's also been helped by the regulatory environment globally, obviously, especially the last 3 months. That's completely changed. I feel like we're entering a global a golden age for crypto. Yeah, I wouldn't point to one particular thing. I think there's just lots of things constantly happening, and then the compounding effect of that means that DeFi just keeps, following kind of like an exponential path.
Thank you. Sri?
Yeah, I think I agree with Anand. But to add on to that more specifically, I'd say there are two dimensions which have kind of surged DeFi ahead. And at the same time, I think this topic in a way is a bit of a misnomer when we talk about a DeFi resurgence, because DeFi has been around for all of 4 or 5 years, and it is really getting started. So I think that one architectural change which drove it to the next level is really Ethereum shifting to POS, and the validator network that had to be created, and for the consensus to move to POS, and essentially the staking requirement that was there for securing the network and for validation. So that single architectural shift has led to things like Lido, things like liquid staking essentially, which has become a primary driver of DeFi. Now that's I think one big reason, and if you look at DeFi as a whole right now, it's around around $140 billion. Much of it is largely in liquid restaking or liquid staking, restaking, and lending. These are the three things, and this will change, I think, dramatically as we move on to the next version of DeFi. The second thing is making it simpler and more user-friendly for users sort of to participate in DeFi. And what was and addressing a specific need. That specific need was about generating passive yield. And if you look at OG DeFi protocols like Yearn, for example, they were doing that, but it was very complex. You had to be a deep degen to be part of. So when restaking, lending, all of this kind of came on board, it became much more simpler for a lot many users who are holding on to assets, tokens, to be able to participate in DeFi in a more simpler way. So A, an architectural change. B, simplifying the user flow, the user journey into DeFi. I think these have been instrumental in this version of DeFi. The next version of DeFi, which we are in right now, is going to be very different from that.
Thank you. Shunpei?
In short, it's because of speculation. Like I saw like only two things, BTC and DeFi is in a product market fit in this crypto space. And that's because if we have it and we deposit and we get money a lot more. So like that's like we should recognize the fact that so like based on that like infrastructure, we can create more interesting topics. And like first, when you think about the like DeFi history, like Uniswap was coming first because we can switch the position to earn more. And once you have a position, then you want to leverage that asset to earn more. And then like lending protocol was coming, like compounded Aave. So like that's like basic like infrastructure that we needed at. So like after several years, like there's like lot of DeFi protocols were coming into this space, but like most like revenues like oriented protocols is like trading platform like DYDX, Hyperliquid, which means that like we can switch the position, we can leverage the position. That's because we can earn money a lot. So like BTC is the same, and like it has a value. That's because like we wanted to have it. So yeah, what I want to mean is so DeFi and crypto space is based on that like human desire motivations. So like based on that, we want to me or like other crypto founders want to create something more interesting, not only the speculation side, but like right now at the moment, I think like speculation is the like most like great motivations for humans.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks. I think those are pretty much the important factor when it comes to DeFi. And one reason I asked the audience how many people are actually using DeFi is we wanted to know how the users actually, these guys are founders who's building the project, the protocol itself. These guys are the customer for you guys, right? What is some of the like projects that you guys use in DeFi? Just spit it out. Okay. Anyone from the back? Any kind of DeFi protocols that you're bullish on or anything? That's pretty quiet, eh? All right, got it. So this is, I think, one of the reason I wanted to ask and get into the next question. From a founder's perspective, what is something that you actually focus, all right, when it comes to onboarding clients? Is it the UX, the user experience? Is it the design? What is it that you actually think? Because I believe this is something that you get feedback from the actual audience right here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll kind of take on from what Chope sort of mentioned. It's about how essentially how you solve everything that's kind of already solved in existing financial markets, but in a much more efficient form, completely on a DeFi primitive architecture. And essentially that's why lending, passive yield generation, all of these things which have been around but need to be much more efficient in DeFi. Now what are some of the things that are actually inhibiting or challenging user adoption? I think largely there are three areas, I'd say. The first one is, without a doubt, the UX and the UI UX, essentially. Unless founders and projects start getting more user focused and less immersed in the beauty of the technology of DeFi, which all of us kind of are completely immersed in, we will not be able to fix that. And I think that UI UX in the next gen DeFi is the most vital aspect. And in my view, DeFi has to be mobile first. We cannot have web app infrastructure and MetaMask or wallet extensions, all of that stuff. It has to be mobile first. So UI UX is the most vital aspect of fixing DeFi. The second aspect, and that relates to how products will be designed, and these products need to solve for user problems, right? If a user wants to participate in crypto in an intelligent form, it has to solve that. If a user wants to be able to, very simplistically be able to generate passive yield and be able to use a reflection token again in some other aspect, and probably have a real world application as well. All DeFi needs to fix that. So there's a product architecting that needs to be done, which is specifically targeted at user needs. Now the challenge to do that is the fragmentation of liquidity in DeFi. Unless liquidity fragmentation sort of is fixed, because today you see liquidity is distributed amongst chains and within chains amongst multiple protocols. So that sort of inhibits efficient product design, which actually solve for users. And I think that's the second part is all around liquidity. The third is really the sort of headwinds of regulation, which kind of inhibits users from coming into DeFi, combined with these two. And DeFi cannot have any country-specific regulation. It has to be cross-border. And once cross-border the regulatory framework kind of evolves, that will really help for the creation of products, for solving for liquidity, and for really wider user adoption. I think these are the three areas that I'd say are important.
Thank you. Anand?
The user experience is definitely super important, and every year I feel like it keeps getting better and better, because the technology now exists to do just faster, smoother, everything, cheaper as well, gas-wise, and then also abstracting away things like all the like blockchain specific things. If you can just abstract that away from the user, that's obviously very helpful, because the user doesn't really care about your on-chain problems, right? Gas and RPC issues and whatnot. So I think that is getting better. We're obviously very focused on that. But I think fundamentally, I'm of the opinion that the UX does matter, but it matters, in the context of like the product, in the sense that how valuable is the product to the user, and if it is very valuable, then the user will tend to put up with shitty UX because he's getting 200% APY, or I'm just using a number, right? But the idea is perceptionally, if the user thinks I'm going to make money, or this is supremely valuable to me in some way, I will find a way to get my money to that protocol, all right? And so that's why you've seen even the early days of Uniswap or all these DeFi innovations, even though the product was very difficult to use, you had wallet issues, bridging issues, and whatnot, people still found a way to got their money there. So billions of dollars, moved there. That's fundamentally because, they were getting very high APYs on this. So ultimately, yes, the UX does matter, but ultimately, the thing that really you should care about is building a product that by itself, without any onboarding, is just supremely valuable. If you do that, users will find a way to move your money there.
I do 100% agree on that. But when it comes to, do you think that education portion from the audience, the customer, is important?
Yeah, it helps. Look, ultimately, it's about who is your first cohort of users, right? If you are talking mass market, then of course if you have a good product but really shitty on-ramp, then it's not going to work for everybody because of the education that you talked about, right? But if you are successful at getting that first cohort of people, and that cohort is very diehard loyal, you can then use that to bootstrap to stage one, and then basically build on that to get to stage two, and basically expand the market to the next quarter, and just keep making. So just iterate on the process. But I think bootstrapping is always about finding who your first cohort is building a product that works. Even if it's 10 people, build it really well for those 10 people. They're using it every day. They love it. And then after that, move on to the 100, to the 1,000, to the 10,000, to the million, right? But it's very much a stepwise process. It doesn't just happen like overnight.
Thank you. Shunpei, anything? Do you agree on user experience?
Maybe it's that I don't need to do add on that.
He's cut it short. So yeah, okay. So we've heard from the founders when it comes to building DeFi projects, product itself, user experience is something that they always think about, onboarding customer. So here I wanted to kind of jump in, especially into, since they're building the product itself. Shunpei, I just wanted to know from your side, when you're building Chainsight, right, it focuses on providing on-chain data to DeFi projects. I guess you mentioned about like real-world assets. What is the most important factor as Chainsight? So I'm going more tech deep, right? And what is like, as a better infrastructure that you're providing into DeFi project itself, how are you helping DeFi projects?
Okay.
Your infrastructure.
The current problem we have is the accessible data is so limited. So that's why that's because we cannot in smart contract. The smart contract cannot access to the Web 2 data. So like web is connected via like HTTP endpoints. It's like interacted to each other, but Web3 world it's isolated from the Web 2 world. That's our like most significant difficulties. So like we are providing the platform where accumulating any data, such as like Web 2 like price financial feed, as well as like any like for instance sports data, gaming data, whatever. Including alternative data. And then like once accumulating that data on that platform, it makes it like to be a time series data, to be more analyzed some things. So if you want to analyze the asset's nature, for instance, like which asset is more stable, more like valuable in terms of the investment, then like time series data is needed to be more data-driven decision making. So that's what we wanted to like solve. So we are providing the data platform where every smart contract can access to that data more easily and securely with using like cryptographic way. But yeah, essentially what I want to say is like access to that data is so important, and that's what we are building right now.
Thank you. I want to jump into Srikumar, building, Aarna.ai. And Aarna, I believe that it brings automation and intelligence, as you mentioned, AI is part of it, to the system. How do you see like AI transforming DeFi's ability itself?
So I look at it in two ways. I mean, there's clearly a very foundational convergence between blockchain and AI. And this is at two levels. One is at an infrastructure level, where, for example, machine learning can be used to make smart contracts much more secure, transactions more efficient. So there's this whole intersection where sort of DeFi or blockchain transactions, right, going up to the consensus mechanism itself can benefit, and that's how AI comes in. The other infrastructural side is also the kind of the converse, where look at the brute force compute that's needed today, and that's why you've got the NVIDIAs and the H100 clusters kind of really in vogue, and distributed compute via blockchain networks, enabled by blockchain networks or distributed storage for that matter. I think that's the other area where blockchain will help or converge with AI. I think infrastructurally those are how intelligence and crypto kind of converge. The other is more directly user focused, where it's about addressing easier, all the things that we've been talking about. How do you make wider, easier adoption for users into DeFi and crypto? And that's where I believe is where the application level of the convergence of AI and crypto or blockchain comes in. And that's a huge, big space in terms of how machine learning or deep learning frameworks can be leveraged to create structured products, for example, which enables a much wider adoption of crypto DeFi in a risk-managed framework, in an intelligent way to access alpha. So that application-oriented convergence, I think, is very vital. And if you take a step back and look at the traditional TradFi markets, as we call them, what's over the last century, let's say, or over the last half a century, what's led to wider adoption of multiple asset classes is structured products. It's not individual, say classes like equities, individual equities or individual bonds or other asset classes. It's actually structured products. So what simplified user adoption? Say mutual funds, say ETFs, or more sophisticated products like hedge funds, quant funds. I mean, there's a whole spectrum of that. That really enabled access. Now, in the DeFi crypto world, all the data is on-chain, and you spoke about time series data, for example. All the alpha, the insights are there. If deep learning frameworks are able to make sense of that and sort of connect the dots, identify the signal from the noise, then you can really identify the opportunities within that and provide and converge that with tokenization to provide very simplified, intelligent, risk-managed access to a wide variety of users to crypto and DeFi. I think that application convergence between AI and crypto is a very vast area. That's something that we've been working at Aarna. We've been building for the last 3 years, in fact, just before launching.
Thank you. And lastly, Anand, I've actually touched the product itself, Paradigm, Paradex, myself. You're forefront in trading. Like, you see on-chain trading, especially dynamics shifting. Like, what is the opportunity that you see in this field?
Yeah, the opportunity is very large, right? I mean, if you look at the recent hyperliquid TGE, the market is valuing hyperliquid at like 12 billion or something like that, right? Which is a very big number. Which represents, like, the market is basically also pricing the size of the opportunity for perpetual dexes, primarily as they see this as kind of, or at least what I think is, they see hyperliquid and the perp landscape as taking market share away from CeFi. So if you look at Binance, Bybit, OKX, they trade something in the order of probably 300 to 500 billion per day. Hyperliquid just trades maybe 2 billion a day, 1 billion a day, something like that. So it's just a drop in the ocean. So I feel like this space is just kind of like, getting started, or is just being born. So the size of the opportunity is very large. Even if we, manage to take, 30% from CeFi, 30% of 300 billion is, 90 billion, and we share the pie amongst ourselves. That's why I fundamentally believe at this stage, perp dexes don't really compete with each other. They compete with CeFi, because the goal is to move CeFi users, to DeFi, and the tech is now, it's at a level where everything you can do in CeFi, you can do in DeFi, in some cases even better. So the user experiences, again, we talked about user experience up front, before, that is also getting better. So the size of the opportunity is massive. I mean, I personally look at it as, if Paradex is able to get even 5% of the CeFi market, that's massive, right? It's and that's near term. And as we keep relentlessly iterating, at some point the user will realize that if I'm getting a same or better experience in DeFi and my funds are safer, why would I continue to take credit risk and risk having like an FTX situation happening again?
All right. Yeah, I do agree on that. Thank you very much. 2 last questions, and I'll make sure it's done. In 30 seconds, can I get, you guys are the founders of the project. What's the roadmap that you're excited that you can announce, probably from Anand, and then go through.
Sure. Yeah. So there's two things I'm very excited about on our roadmap. One is the first, which we just launched a week ago, which are VTFs. So VTFs are vault-traded funds, which are very similar to an ETF, a traditional finance ETF, except these funds are all on-chain. So you can simply go to a smart contract, deposit money, and that smart contract basically represents a basket, like a passive investment vehicle. So either it's a memes ETF, a 3x majors, or something like that. You can do, normal VTFs, leverage, inverse, things like that. As of today, passive investing has not really been a thing in DeFi because it was not possible to put so many things in a contract and still have it be performant. And so, we are the first to sort of really push and try to popularize passive investment on chain. So VTFs are live. It's doing phenomenally well, even though it's only been live a couple of days. And then the second is perpetual options. And so, we have an options trading background from Paradigm, and we've always believed that, options have really not taken off in crypto as much as the perp, and we think that's because of the design flaws of the current options implementation. So what we've done is basically build perpetual options, which is effectively what perpetual futures did for futures. You now have perpetual options, which is basically like an option that does not expire, and that comes with it all the liquidity benefits and the cost benefits of trading a options instrument. But now and these options also you can put in a vault. So now these primitives start to work well together. So that's something I'm super excited about. Both products are new to crypto, and crypto rewards innovation. So we're pretty excited about that.
Thank you. Aarna, what can you announce as Aarna protocol?
Yeah, so totally excited about so we built Aarna protocol as the sort of the infrastructure, and then we launched our first product just 2 months back. It's called RFI 802. It's the crypto world's first AI quant tokenized structured product. So essentially everything that I spoke about, that's captured within this structured product, and very proud of the 15-member team that we have who kind of delivered working on this over the last 2.5 years to do this. So essentially users come in and deploy stables, USDC, USDT DAI into the vault, and leave everything to Alpha 37, which is a deep learning framework which is trained over millions of data points and a feature set involving time series data, social sentiment, blockchain transactions, and is able to have predictive intelligence or predictive capacity to identify top tokens in a risk-managed framework. And those predictions are then autonomously fed into our RFI tokenization platform, where the smart contracts undertake all the rebalancing of the portfolio on a weekly basis or more, and everything reflects in the RFI 802 token. So the RFI 802, so users just deploy stables and leave everything to the deep learning and smart contracts to manage underneath everything, and it's completely in a liquid, completely permissionless, and in a decentralized architecture, self-custodied in the wallet. So extremely excited with the launch of RFI 802, and sort of really taking it to the next level. It's a capped product, again, at a $10 million. We're looking at the first $1 million of deployers in this product, already closing in on that, and we've got a very exciting sort of reward program for the early contributors who will also become part of the whole Aarna ecosystem, everyone who comes within the first $1 million of this product. So looking forward to that.
That's pretty exciting. Shumpei, do you have any announcements to make?
One of the upcoming features is Oracle Factory. So you can fill out the necessary information on the UI, and you can click the deploy button, and that's it. You can create any oracles related to any data. So you don't need to negotiate with Oracle providers. You don't so much rely on the Oracle providers. Just if you need the data on chain, then you can deploy it on the desired destination chains, whatever, EVM, Solana, whatever, and then yeah, that's it. So Oracle Factory means you can build any oracle from the UI. So yeah.
Thank you. Just one last question, right, for you guys as the founders. How can you guys collaborate? I always see when I do moderating and I come into speaker slot, everyone actually talks about their project, right? They don't really talk about how can you actually collaborate. I think the MC was talking about collaboration, right?
I have one. As he was talking about it, I was just thinking, you should build your structured products on us because we are permissionless, so we don't really want to do what you're doing in the sense that you face the user, and we just want to be the infrastructure layer that you can build on top of, right? So that's one easy way to think of, and then at some point we could use some of your Oracle products, I guess, because we've built our own Oracle, but we can make that more robust by adding more data providers.
Anything you can think of?
Yeah, Wasim, I think the best part of DeFi in its design is composability, right? So that enables us to not just have announced partnerships actually, but actually look at a foundational level as smart contracts talking to each other and creating value for users. So yeah, definitely something we should be talking about, and especially given our structured product and what you guys are doing as well at Chainsight, I'm sure there's stuff. So announcing our collaboration of Aarna with Paradex and Chainsight right on this stage. Here we go.
You've heard it. So we just discussed about collaboration. How can we actually check if this is really happening? Is there any social that you want to announce? Like, where can we find Paradex, Aarna, Chainsight?
You can find us on Twitter. It's Trade Paradex, one word, TradeParadex.
Yeah, also on Twitter, it's Aarna says, AARNA. SAYS, Aarna says, and of course Aarna.ai is, and we've got a whole bunch of resources out there on our website where we can get into everything that's there.
Yeah, we can find ours on X, Chainsight, like there's like some like Chainsight account on the X, so like please like Chainsight _.
So if you have your phone, follow these 3 protocols. You'll see the collaboration happening within, I guess, 7 days, 10 days. Give it 7 business days. So, all right. Thank you very much for having us. Thank you, Shumpei. Thank you, Sri. Thank you, Anand. Give them a very, very big applause.
Thank you, guys.